Welcome, Hudson Valley, to this week's edition of In Touch, the public affairs and issues program that runs across Townsquare Media, the Hudson Valley radio stations. Today's guests are Laurie Woolever, president of the Hyde Park Education Foundation, and Dr. Greer Rychcik, founder and vice president of the Hyde Park Education Foundation. Memorial Day weekend is next weekend, and the Hyde Park Education Foundation is hosting their Field of Honor ceremony at the FDR Estate in Hyde Park. We discussed their upcoming event along with their scholarship and grants programs, plus the 75th anniversary of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights and how that ties into the Hyde Park community. We invite you to join us and listen to a previously recorded conversation between Laurie, Greer, and myself here on In Touch. Hello, Hudson Valley. You're listening to In Touch, Townsquare Media, the Hudson Valley's public affairs and issues program. I'm your host, Connor Walsh, and this is a very special and meaningful episode for me today, and we'll get into that in a second. And we're kind of doing things a bit differently. We have two guests, but in two different locations. With us in person, we have Laurie Woolever, president of the Hyde Park Education Foundation, and with us over the phone, we have Dr. Greer Rychcik, Vice President of the Hyde Park Education Foundation. They are both with us today to talk about all the wonderful things that the foundation is doing and to promote their upcoming event, Field of Honor, happening Memorial Day weekend. Laurie, Greer, how are you guys today?
Hey, good, Connor. How are you?
Doing very well.
Happy to be here and happy to reconnect with you, Connor.
I know. I'm very happy to reconnect. So for those who are unfamiliar, I went to Hyde Park schools. Dr. Rychcik, you were the superintendent when I was in schools, and we got to work with each other on a number of events. And Laurie, though I never had you as a teacher, your legacy lived on, plus also went to school with her son, Doug. That was really great to be able to experience that. And then not just that, Laurie was my first ever In Touch guest. Before I was even technically the full-on host. That was when Patty was still the official host, and I was just kind of the assistant. Yeah. So it's really, it's exciting to have you back in here and kind of full circle now.
Just remember us little people when you're a big star, okay?
Absolutely. I'll call you back in. But sentiment aside, I really do appreciate you guys coming in and everything, and so much great stuff is going on. As I said, the Field of Honor event is going to be happening Memorial Day weekend. But before we get into that, for those who are unaware of who the Hyde Park Education Foundation is and what y'all do, could you guys give an overview on that, either one of you?
Well, I'll read our mission statement, and then I'll let Greer give a little historical perspective. The mission of the Hyde Park Education Foundation is to provide financial support to individual schools and district-wide programs and activities that encourage and enhance the educational opportunities and well-being of the students of the Hyde Park School District.
Very good. Thanks, Laurie. And, I really just want to thank Laurie. She's doing a tremendous job as the president of this foundation. I became the superintendent of schools in 2010 and very quickly realized that we did not have an education foundation. And most school districts, and especially even in Dutchess County, have education foundations. The sole purpose is to raise money for that goes to students or teacher grants or programs. It also has a cultural piece too, where community members can join in efforts to raise money for things that otherwise might not happen in a school district, and it's usually a very collegial group. So I made it a mission to try and revitalize the Hyde Park Education Foundation. It existed years before I got there. I got in touch with some of the people who were involved, and they are still very active community members, but really had done their time with the Education Foundation. Well, 7 years later, I had a meeting with David B. Roosevelt. He was bringing his two daughters, or considering bringing his two daughters, to the Hyde Park schools. As we were talking about the Hyde Park schools, he said, I noticed you don't have an education foundation. I said, funny you should say that. And long story short, David became the first president of our reinstituted Hyde Park Education Foundation in 2017.
Wow.
We very quickly put together a board, and some people joined in. One of the officers brought to the table the concept of the Field of Honor, and that's why that's our signature fundraising event.
It's your flagship event, if I do say so myself. But no, that's
All
terrific.
puns intended.
Absolutely. But no, that's fantastic. And I love the historical background that goes into. Now, David Roosevelt, what is his exact familial connection with the Roosevelt family again?
Yes, and he passed away recently, so we're very much still missing him and grieving the loss. He's the grandson of Eleanor and Franklin Roosevelt.
Gotcha. Thank you for that. And yes, very sorry for that loss. Very sorry about that. I'm sure there'll be a lot of ways to honor him through all the different activities that you guys have and everything that you guys continue to do. You know, the legacy continues. And since you mentioned Field of Honor, I think this is definitely the best time to get into that. So what exactly is Field of Honor? Now, I've been there. I've seen it all. It's a wonderful event, but I'm sure there's still a few people out there that might be passing Route 9 and see all the flags is like, what is going on over there? So one of you guys tell us, what is the Field of Honor?
Well, if the sign isn't up yet, there is a nice banner that should be on the stone wall.
I think
there.
it is, actually.
Is it? Oh, good. Okay.
I thought I saw it the other day.
Excellent, excellent. Well, this is the 4th annual flag display this year. And the Field of Honor is actually part of the Colonial Flag Foundation, and we register with them in order to use the term Field of Honor. They're done all over the country. If you register to do one, no one else can do one within a certain radius. It's kind of like Broadway shows. If you want to do a Broadway show, you can't if you are close enough to there. Anyway, what it is, it's a display of flags, and they're full-size American flags made in America that are on a grid, and we have between 200 and 250. I'm not sure of the exact number.
That's a great number, though.
It is. It's fantastic. And boy, on a windy day, it just takes your breath away. It's just beautiful. And at sunset, I'm never there at sunrise, but I have been there at sunset. It's just an amazing sight. Not only do we have the flags, but we have a book walk. We'll be having some art events in the kids' tent. We're going to have games and other crafts, and we've got some local entertainment, mainly you. And,
Why, thank you. I'm excited to return.
Great. And 2/3 of Flash Company, because they had a little calendar misunderstanding.
Oh, no.
So Eric Garrison and one of his buddies from Flash Company will be there. And I'm putting together a small but mighty reunion chorus, FDR reunion chorus, and we're doing a medley of songs on the theme of All I Really Need, starting with the wonderful old Raffi tune, All I Really Need, because that is a great, that whole song is a great representation of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. And what we're kind of doing this year at the Field of Honor is do our own little kickoff of the 75th anniversary celebration. The National Park Service, of course, is doing a bigger kickoff later on in the year, but we're kind of giving it a little shot in the arm to start.
You're getting there first.
Well, you know, it's just our thing. We're there. We're there. So our opening ceremony is on Saturday, the 27th at 10 o'clock, and we'll have some local dignitaries, and we'll have some school district dignitaries, and we'll be presenting our senior scholarship, and we're also presenting our teacher grants for the first time. We've done the teacher grants before, but this is the first time we're presenting them officially at the Field of Honor, which I think is pretty awesome.
That is terrific.
It's always a good time of year to celebrate teachers, but to give them a special boost in the arm at the end of the school year is a wonderful thing. And these teachers have been written up these fantastic grants, and we're very happy to give them. We're giving out a total of, well, it was 37, and then we got one more grant. So what is it, 42? I think it's about $4,200.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That's gorgeous.
Yeah. So that's the Field of Honor in a thumbnail sketch with some of the things that we will be celebrating, and that's
fantastic.
That's what we do. So we're hoping for good weather. We'll have all our official event type things on Saturday, but the display will also be open on Sunday and Monday for people to just walk around and buy a flag if you want to, or just look. It's a free event, and it's on the grounds of the home of the Franklin D. Roosevelt National Historic Site, right in front, on the lawn in front of Springwood, in front of the home.
Fantastic.
On the fundraising end of it, if you go to the website, Hyde Park Education Foundation.org, you can find out how the fundraiser works. People can either purchase a dedication card for, I believe it's, $20, or purchase a flag for $45. The purchasing of the flags or the dedication cards, a lot of people think since it's Memorial Day weekend, it has to be somebody who served. And it's not. It can be somebody who's alive that has been a motivation or a hero to you. So you can dedicate a flag to any individual that you choose. We have a grid, and when people come, they can actually look up their flags and see them flying there among 250 other flags. So it's really a neat way that this fundraiser works, because it can be very personal to you or your family who you dedicate a flag to or purchase a flag. We also have corporate sponsors, and there's a banner that lists all of our corporate sponsors, so I don't want to start naming just a few, but as you come to the event, you will see all of the corporate sponsors, and we would not be able to raise the money for the schools without the purchase of flags, the dedication cards, and the corporate sponsors.
Yes, exactly. The corporate sponsors' logos are on our website, and they're also on our Facebook page.
That's terrific. And thank you for bringing that up. I was going to ask about how the dedications worked with the flags. As somebody who's walked through the flags, and I've checked it all out, and I've seen so many people flock to those flags and see everything, it really is a beautiful moment, just to be able to have something in dedication to somebody that, they really care about, whether they did serve, whether they were a first responder, whether it's just somebody who held a very important spot in someone's life. It's really a wonderful and beautiful dedication. So thank you very much for bringing that up. I was going to ask about that. Again, you're listening to In Touch, Townsquare Media, the Hudson Valley's Public Affairs and Issues program. We are speaking with Laurie Woolever and Dr. Greer Rychcik, President and Vice President of the Hyde Park Education Foundation. We're specifically talking about their Field of Honor event that's going on Memorial Day weekend. That's Saturday, May 27th through Monday, May 29th. And it's going to be terrific with so many awesome events, activities, entertainers, and more. It is really, really cool. A couple of things that I really want to bring up now. You mentioned it already, Laurie. There's a number of great dedications and presentations that are going on. You mentioned about the grants, the scholarships, and also the 75th anniversary of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. And it only makes sense that, just like everything else in Hyde Park, it's all tied to Roosevelt, and there's so many kind of like little things that connect it together. So I guess with all the awesome things going on, let's start with the 75th anniversary of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. What is that exactly, to start off with? Either yourself or Dr. Rychcik, either one of you want to start?
Yeah, Amy Bracewell is taking the lead. She's the superintendent of the National Park Service here in Hyde Park, and so Eleanor Roosevelt was on the committee that drafted the original Universal Declaration of Human Rights. So there's a celebration being planned throughout the year. On October 24th is United Nations Day, so the Park Service is hoping to have some events at the site to celebrate the 75th anniversary, and specifically on December 10th is the Human Rights Day, and that is recognized by, the federal government as Human Rights Day, so there will be a lot of activities planned. The National Park Service is working with several agencies that are connected to Eleanor Roosevelt, and actually even Dutchess County governmental offices, to begin planning how do we celebrate the 75th anniversary of the Declaration of Human Rights, and specifically focusing on Eleanor's role in that committee and bringing the Declaration of Human Rights to fruition.
Wow, that really is incredible to be able to have that kind of legacy and that kind of impact. And now 75 years since, that's amazing to be able to celebrate that. Now to be able to take part in that in a couple of weekends from now. So that's going to be really, really awesome. So what is it exactly is Field of Honor doing to recognize that again?
This year, we're a little bit ahead of the curve, if you will, because nothing formal is being done at the Park Service. But we had our grant application process for the teachers and the staff to submit applications for the grants. One of our requirements this year was that they would tie it into some aspect of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. So that was very heartwarming to see these requests come in the form of grant applications connecting their projects to the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. So that's one. The other was our annual scholarship. We dedicated our annual scholarship this year to David B. Roosevelt, as well as looking for somebody who was involved in community service and pursuing a career where they were looking to help others. So that was how we were doing our small part to give a nod to the 75th anniversary. An application that came in from one of the elementary schools would involve third graders and fifth graders in civic engagement and community service. They will be doing a river cleanup project, and the students will learn about what it means to give back to the community and protecting our natural resources. They had to identify one of the specific articles in the Declaration of Human Rights to support their application.
I have it here. They happen to reference Article 1, which is all human beings are born free and equal in dignity and rights. They are endowed with reason and conscience and should act towards one another in a spirit of brotherhood.
I love how this is all tied in with this and how it just kind of brings the work that's being done to a whole other altruistic level. I think that's really cool how that all plays together and how things are being done. Now, curious, like how many specific grants are being given out? Do you have an idea of the number? Either one of you?
Yes.
Is it 7?
We'll be notifying the people today, so we're not going to read it on here. And as Laurie said, totaling the total amount of dollars that will be given by the foundation is about $4,500 and divvied up between the 7 grants.
Yeah, we have grants from elementary and middle school. All those grades are covered. So yeah, it's really good. It's the most amount of grants that we've ever given, and it's the most number of schools participating. So it's wonderful.
Wow, that really is impressive, and it just kind of goes to show you the work that you guys are putting into it to one, make it be aware to the community to make this all happen. But then all the legwork that you guys have done to get the donations, get the sponsors, get everybody together and just kind of build and build. Laurie, I remember we were saying last year kind of the effects of COVID that led into the event. And it was kind of, we weren't sure how things were going to go into the future. However, based off everything that I'm hearing you two say, it seems like things are bright with everything. Everything's moving forward, and if you guys are giving away the most grants that you ever had before, that just, to me, is super inspirational, and it's just a good sign of good things moving forward.
Yeah. Well, I think things are picking up. It's funny, I got a new guy doing my lawn, and he says, the grass grew so well this year, or so badly, which how depending on your perspective. But the grass grew up so early this year because we had that really couple of hot days in April, and it heated up the ground.
Yeah.
To 50, it has to be 52 degrees in order for the grass to go. And I think that's what's happening with us. We had a slow start and then COVID, and shoot, I mean, that just kind of
really knocked everybody.
Yes, it knocked everybody out. And I think last year we came back pretty well, and this year I feel like the ground is warm, and we're growing. We're definitely growing.
It feels like last year's was able to kind of light the fire underneath you and warm everything up.
Yeah, and remind people that we're still here.
Fantastic.
That we are here. There's some people that still have no idea that we have a foundation or what it is. I call it we're the booster club for the whole school district. But we don't buy uniforms. We do support buying books though, because did you know that 2 of our schools have a book vending machine?
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's the coolest thing. The kids get a token for some sort of special achievement, good behavior. I don't really know exactly what they get the tokens for, but it's, they don't put money in. They get the tokens from their teacher, from the principal, and they buy books.
Wow.
Yeah, it's amazing. And one of the grants has to is involved with buying books that represent DEI. Of course, I'm not going to remember what that stands for.
Oh, diversity, equity, and inclusion.
Thank you. Of course. Yep.
There we go.
Yeah. So it's a wonderful thing, and the elementary kids just love it. Can you imagine? Having a token and going up to a machine and instead of getting a bag of chips, all that in a bag of chips.
Yeah, and the one specifically was to have more books in various languages and more books that reflect the various cultures of the students in our schools, so that whatever nationalities are represented in the schools, the students can select a book. It's just nice for students to feel included and also recognized.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome.
Yep. And going back to the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, Article 15 says everyone has the right to a nationality. No one shall be arbitrarily deprived of his nationality nor denied the right to change his nationality.
Oh, wow.
So just about everything we have to do and we can do is tied back to one of these things that's 75 years old.
That's terrific. And I really like what you were saying about the books. First of all, the inclusivity to it, but then also it makes it less. I remember when I was back in school, I was never the biggest reader, and I just felt like reading anything was just a chore. But then here you are putting these books in these vending machines, and you're presenting it in such a fun way. It makes somebody more inclined to yearn for it, to want it, it feels like a reward. It's a prize,
it's
exactly.
A reward. Mm-hmm.
And it just encourages people to enjoy it and have it even more. And I love that, especially as somebody who now later in life actually finally picking up a book for my own enjoyment now.
I'm sure your English teachers are happy to hear that.
Oh my God, yeah, no, my English teachers were always pulling teeth with me. Again, you're listening to In Touch, Townsquare Media, the Hudson Valley's Public Affairs and Issues program. We're speaking with Laurie Woolever and Dr. Greer Rychcik of the Hyde Park Education Foundation, and we've been talking about a number of wonderful things. Of course, their Field of Honor Memorial Day weekend celebration, but also talking about the wonderful grants that they offer, talking about the 75th anniversary of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, how that ties in with everything that's been going on here in Hyde Park, the legacy, the history. It has been amazing. And I greatly appreciate both of you guys being on right now. So for those who are looking for more information on the Hyde Park Education Foundation, looking to donate to the event, looking to get involved and wanting to check things out later, what's the best place for them to look into?
Well, I would say the website, hydeparkeducationfoundation.org. Oh, you'll see our flag photo that won the national contest. It's one of the 12 that are in the Colonial Flag Foundation's calendar for 2023. That's the background. And then what you'll see is what we do, and if you click over that, you'll see all the different things that we are involved in with the school district. And the middle one is Field of Honor, and that'll give you the information about the Field of Honor, but how to donate. That's the one at the bottom. Roll over that, and there'll be There'll be 4 places right there for you to make a donation, either for a flag, dedicate a flag, or purchase a flag. If you are a business owner, you can make a business sponsorship. And we're still accepting all kinds of donations and sponsorships. So please, if you're feeling the warmth, feeling the love, do that. The other 2, what's the other 2? Oh, the teacher awards.
Yes.
The HPF ACTS Awards, awards to celebrate teachers and staff. Great time of year to be thinking about awarding a teacher. And if you're looking for something different besides a mug or a plant, you could donate something to the Hyde Park Education Foundation, and the teacher gets a lovely certificate, and we get money to go towards our grants and our scholarships. None of us are paid. We are all volunteers. We have no overhead. We have no cost to our foundation at all. Everything we make goes right back to the teachers and the students.
That's beautiful, and we appreciate all your effort. Greer, do you have anything to add on to any of that?
Well, we love to see people stop out and see us at the Field of Honor. Again, the most special moment is the opening ceremony on Saturday, the 27th. This year, we did become members of the Hyde Park Chamber of Commerce. So right before or as we start our ceremony, the Hyde Park Chamber of Commerce will be joining us for a ribbon cutting ceremony, and we're really excited about that.
Yes.
Oh, that's very exciting. I'm excited to be there. I can't wait for the event. I think it's going to be great. Well, hey, Laurie, Greer, thank you so much for being here on In Touch. We really appreciate your time and really appreciate everything that you're doing for the Hyde Park education community.
Thank you. This was a pleasure.
Thank you, Connor.
No problem. This has been this week's edition of In Touch, the public affairs and issues program that runs across Townsquare Media, the Hudson Valley radio stations. We want to give a big thank you to Laurie Woolever and Dr. Greer Rychcik. For more on the Hyde Park Education Foundation and the Field of Honor event, visit hydeparkeducationfoundation.org. Of course, all links and information can be found in the description of this episode. Whether you've been listening for a while or you have just joined us, thank you. You can find In Touch episodes new and old on your favorite streaming services like Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, and more. That and listen on demand with your Townsquare radio station mobile app. Of course, you can still find all articles and audio under the In Touch tab on this radio station's app and website. And don't forget, we're also on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram at InTouch_HV. If you like what we do here on In Touch and want to be on the show, let us know. Whether you have a topic you want discussed or you want to be a guest, the best way to contact us is through our office number, 845-471-1500, or email direct to connor.walsh@townsquaremedia.com. Again, I've been your host, Connor Walsh. Until next time, stay curious, keep an open mind, and as always, I'm glad we get to spend some time.